not as comfortable. She's not as comfortable up here. See how she's kind of.
Am I freaking her out?
No, she just is a little that way, and I don't know why. She's super bold on the ground and everything. She just doesn't care for this a whole lot. But I think that sometimes I like it because it makes them have to try to maybe trust you that you're putting them up here in an uncomfortable place. And they kind of have to give in to you and to that table and to themselves. And to me, it's also a sign that if you start putting pressure on this dog out on the field, she might try to sink out there because we're not giving her any pressure. We're just making her kind of do her thing. She's kind of telling me, you start putting pressure on this dog, she might sink into her birds or her game. And you can kind of see it. You know, I showed that other dog that elbow thing to get her to stand up. You kind of have to help her or coax her, but this elbow is up in her rib cage. So this dog probably will point a little squatted later on, or when you put pressure on her, she's going to want the tendency to go down a little bit in the front. She's going to make a nice hunting dog for somebody, but might have a few, I wouldn't call it a fault, but just not what I'm wanting to have in my breeding program. But she's super nice young dog, good style. A little small for me also, but I'm Blue. She just needs to learn to relax up here. It's not bad. There she's starting to at least not give in. Good girl. Okay. With her, I'm just going to pick her up because she'll want to jump off as soon as I touch her. So her, I'm going to pick up. All right, girl. Good girl. And this will be the first time I introduce the collar to her for either one. So this will be a first. My girl. All right. Good girl. We're going to make her come to me a few times. 3 times to be exact. Put her on the post. This will be the first time we stimulate her on the belly on that post. That a girl, Blue. We're going to turn the collar down. Always check your collar before when you switch dogs and before you start stimulating them. That a girl. That a girl. And I started stimulating her before I gave her a command or the whistle. Good girl. And they get a little bored and I guess clingy or sticky when you do these commands so often. But I believe in lots of repetition, and you physically and mentally it absorbs and stays there forever if you do it over and over and over. Here. That a girl. That a girl. Girl. I want that, any command I do, I want it imprinted in their brain so much that it's muscle memory. So if their brain says no, their muscles say you still got to do it the same way. All right. soon as she gets here, I let off the button, and she did really good. It's the first time I've introduced the collar. Good girl. We're gonna take this collar. We're gonna run it up between her legs. Now, this is the first time. If she gives any difficulties or shows signs she's really confused with stimulating around there, we'll go back to the half hitch and do it 3 times, and then go back to the collar and do it 3 times or 7. But we don't want her to get confused here. So the first time I start doing this, we're big and spur. We're a little further along on the stimulation part. This will be the first time I stimulate her. So if she really gets confused or nervous, we will switch back to the half hitch and just kind of rerun her through it, and then go to the belly. Come on. Come on. I don't think she's going to be confused. Easy. Whoop. So I stimulated her right before I said the command. This time, as long as she stands there and doesn't move her feet, I'm not going to do anything. Where the other dogs, I was kind of pulling on them and stimulating them. For her, she's doing what I want as of right now. She's a little nervous, but now her breathing just changed. That a girl. Good girl. So we're going to turn her. She's going to get her hands on her. Didn't want her to move forward. Good girl. Come on. Come on. She knows what we're doing up here enough that she's wanting to stop. Come on. So we're going to have to kind of pull her across. She's cheating really bad. Easy. Whoop. So I stimulate her. As I was pulling her, she's going to come off this whoa post pretty quick, because that weight of that check cord, there she yawns. She knows what I want. She's not moving her feet. But that weight of that check cord to her in her mind means I have to stop. If we take that check cord off, the weight, there'll be no weight, so she'll move pretty smooth and freely. She thinks we're going to turn and go the other way. I wish she was a little closer to the end before I put a pigeon down. So the next one, I'm going to pull her a little bit more to the end before I put a pigeon and style her up. The pigeon's more for style and to make them relax. She's a little nervous. Good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl, good girl. Good girl, all right. Come on, girl. She really doesn't want to go at all. Come on, come on. Easy. Whoop. So I'm going to leave a little slack in that. I'm going to put a bird down here because I want to get my hands on her and some style. And maybe she'll forget about that rope and what we just did a little bit. Whoop. She's nervous. Whoop. See, later in life too, I think that bird jumping around, she'll remember this, that if that bird jumps around, she's still not supposed to move. That's just my opinion, my thoughts on it, and why I do this. She's definitely not wanting to give in to the bird. So here's what I'm gonna whoop, stimulate her a little bit. Whoop. I'm gonna try to take a little slack off this right here. I think doing this with the pigeon, for whatever reason later on in life, when you're out there flushing a lot, they'll keep their style and they won't want to move forward like she just did there. I'd never want her to back up like she just did. I want everything on birds or game. She's trying to launch forward. Maybe I'm trying to push it too far, but on birds or game, I want that dog to always want to be going forward. I never want him to go backwards. Like she tried to back up because she was trying to get a running start to launch this bird. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fly it. See how she kind of pull forward. I want everything forward. I never want a dog that's on point or on game back up from it. Good girl. Atta girl. Atta girl. Good girl. With her, we're just gonna go have her turn 3 times. Introduce the collar on the neck for turning, and that'll be it for her. She's happy again. She's really anticipating that whoa post. Make sure you turn your collar back to where you want it. Up. Atta girl. All right. Good girl, good girl. All right. As soon as she turned and started coming, I let off the stimulation on the neck, but I do hold it till they give into what I want. She's a lot closer working dog, a little clingier dog than the other two, but she's gonna make a nice wild bird dog, hunting dog, club type dog, a lot of style. She's very biddable. I'm gonna please somebody really nice. When you do all this, the dog doesn't have to be at the end of the check cord to turn or to come to you. They can be anywhere. You just want them to do it. And you want to make sure you have good timing with your collar and you have good timing to let go when the dog does what you want, so they don't get confused. That's why I introduced the collar with the check cord on. So if they don't give in, I can make them give in. And this dog's not quite far enough along to go put her on the birds. She needs to do a little better job up there on that pigeon and feel comfortable that I can stop her without any of the other stuff. See how she's sinking here? I want her to just relax. I think this is a nice place to be. Like, once again, she needs to have a little bit more confidence before we move forward and put any more so-called pressure on this dog. And a lot of times pressure doesn't mean anything me physically doing the pressure. Mentally, it's just the next step or stage or something. She needs more confidence. This shows you she's not overly confident in herself. She's sinking, giving in. So she needs a lot more of this and what we just did, and that it's always happy. Everybody can argue that I'm wrong or whatever, but it's just what I see. I look at 100 dogs a year, so some dogs just take longer than others. Some dogs take a lot longer mentally, and it has nothing to do with demanding pressure. It's just mental pressure and giving in and doing the things you want them to do. So I think getting your hands on them and spending as much time with everything you're doing, whether it be turning here, whoa, loading in and out of the truck, as many times and as much as possible until they're comfortable doing it. And they're, no matter what happens, they just do it. Their mind says, I got to do it. And then they're happy doing it. Like right now, she's not happy. So we're just going to see if we can get her to relax before I take her down. Have a little bit of confidence that next time we put her up here, she'll stand right up there and have the confidence in herself that it's a nice place to be. And each time I touch her, she's going down. If you push down, sometimes they'll resist and push back up. I don't think this woe board's overly important, other than it can tell you that mentally some things might become an issue if you try to push it out there. Good girl. That a girl. Good girl. Try to get her to stand where I want her before I take her down. So she might think later on also in her brain that if I just stand up there nice, I can get down and do what I want to do. So I'll give in a little quicker. It's kind of like a reward for doing what you want. Good girl. Okay.